I wanted to address a common student misconception. Take a look at these two fractions. What is the difference between these two numbers? Are they the same number? If you look at them, they look very similar. They both contain a 2, they both contain an 8. And most people, they say, all right, 8 divided by 2, we get 4. And then they see 2 divided by 8 and they say, oh, 4. So this is where the problem comes in that I'm seeing again and again, is that people are treating 2 divided by 8 as the same as 8 divided by 2. Let me show you how they're different. The way I want to show you is I'm going to reduce each by dividing both the numerator and denominator by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 1/4 is just a part of a whole. So 1/4 is just a little piece of a whole. In fact, it's equal to 25/100 or 0.25. So 2/8 is less than 1. It's not even equal to a whole. It's a part of a whole. Now look over here at 8/2. We're going to reduce this as well by dividing the numerator and the denominator by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 4 over 1 is equal to 4. Over here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 wholes. So 4 wholes, that is greater than 1. 8/2 is greater than 1. So if the numerator is larger than the denominator, then this value is greater than 1. If the numerator is smaller than the denominator, then this value will be less than 1. And the other thing you need to know is that if the numerators are equal, the numerator and the denominator are equal, we get 1. Let's say it was 2 over 2. If the numerator and the denominator are the same, it's going to be equal to 1. Let me show you this with some pictures. Let's say that we had 2 hamburgers, and we wanted to divide those 2 hamburgers into 8 groups. Well, if you take 2 hamburgers and you want to divide that into 8 groups, you're not even going to have a whole hamburger in one group. You're going to have to split these 2 hamburgers into little pieces so that you can divide the 2 hamburgers into 8 separate groups. Take a look. You would be dividing these pieces into 8 groups, and each group would just contain 1/4 of a hamburger, only a portion of a hamburger. Now let's look at it. Instead of 2/8, now let's look at the fraction 8/2. 8/2, what that means in this example is that you start out with 8 hamburgers and you're dividing these hamburgers into 2 groups. So let me go ahead and divide this into 2 groups. So group 1, okay, I'm going to label that G1 for group 1, and then group 2. And instead of having in each group 1/4 of a hamburger, each group has 4 hamburgers in it. So 8 divided by 2, 8 hamburgers divided by 2 groups is very different than taking 2 hamburgers and dividing it amongst 8 groups. All right, let's say that we had 2 hamburgers and we divide 2 hamburgers into 2 groups. Well, group 1 and group 2. We would have 1 hamburger in each group. 2 hamburgers divided by 2 groups, 1 hamburger per group. Okay, let's say that we took 8 hamburgers and divided it amongst 8 groups. That would be group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4. I'm just going to put 5, 6, group 7, group 8. You get the idea. each group would have 1 hamburger in it. So if you took these 8 hamburgers, you divided it into 8 groups, each would have 1 hamburger per group. So I'm trying to show you through these pictures of hamburgers that if the numerator is smaller than the denominator, then you're going to get an answer that is less than 1. If the numerator is larger than the denominator, you're going to get a result that is greater than 1. If the numerator and denominator are both the same, there's not one that's larger than the other, then it's going to be equal to 1. I'm hoping that this helps you to better understand the difference between an improper fraction and a proper fraction.